Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Call Haloim La, Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, which means all praises to Yahweh, Abanawa, which is our Father, Ba'asham, in the name, Yahweh Shai, his only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. You know, double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and salutations to all you Achim around the world preaching the gospel in truth and in sincerity, with charity, who's rightly dividing the word of truth directly and correctly. You know, salutations and blessings, you know, go out to you, brothers. And, you know, I'm Brother Mathathia, you know, Great Millstone, Chicago. And, just sitting here meditating through the Spirit. You know, it's pretty late. It's 5 in the morning, you know. These are my usual hours, you know, because this wicked ass place, you can never get no sleep, you know, with this wicked ass vibration and all the fucking madness that be going on around this motherfucker. But without further ado, you know, I'll just get into the lesson, you know, that that's been on my spirit. This is Isaiah 30, verse 1. It says, "Woe to the rebellious children, saith Yahweh, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin unto sin." You know? And that take counsel, but not of the Lord, and that cover with a covering that's not of his spirit, right? You know, that's pretty much the lesson and the topic that we're going to touch and go into through the Spirit, Lord will, you know? Verse 2, it says, "That walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt." Now, as the scriptures, matter of fact, I'll pull it up. This is Romans 15:4. It says, "For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope." You know, so we have examples in the scriptures of how to walk, you know, how to live, how to be, and we have examples of how not to. You know, so I'm gonna give an example of this Isaiah 30. You know, not taking counsel of the Lord. You know, covering with a covering that's not of the Lord's spirit. You know, and not asked at the Lord's mouth, man. Not went unto the Lord to seek his counsel. This is 1 Chronicles 10:13. I'm gonna get straight to the point. It says, "So Saul being the king of Israel, the Benjamite that Samuel anointed, you know, it says, so Saul died for his transgression which he committed against Yahweh, even against the word of Yahweh, which he kept not." That's the point. "And also for asking counsel of one that had a familiar spirit to inquire of it." That's the perfect example of that take counsel, but not of me, and have not asked at my mouth. Because what did Saul do? Saul went to the witch of Endor, you know, and had her conjure up the spirit of Samuel. You know, which all witches is supposed to be put to death, man. You know. So Saul seen that the Lord wasn't dealing with him no more, so he went to the left-hand side, man. You know. He went and asked counsel, but not of the Lord, man. He didn't ask at the Lord's mouth, or wasn't of the Lord's spirit. You know. This is Ezekiel 3:1, because who is the mouthpiece of the Lord? You know. It's Ezekiel 3:1. "Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat that thou findest. Eat this roll and go speak unto the house of Israel." So we eat these words, man. We read these words and we go speak to the house of Israel. "So I opened my mouth, and he caused me to eat that roll. And he said unto me, Son of man, cause thy belly to eat, and fill thy bowels with this roll that I give thee. Then did I eat it, and it was in my mouth as honey for sweetness. And he said unto me, Son of man, go get thee unto the house of Israel, and speak with my words unto them." And speak with the words of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, man. So the words we speak come straight out the scriptures, which are not our words. These are the words of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai. You know, because I'm showing you who this counsel is, so you know what these niggards do. This is Second Chronicles 36:12. It says, and he did that which was evil in the sight of Yahweh his power, and humbled not himself before Jeremiah the prophet. Jeremiah the prophet, right? Speaking, Jeremiah was what? Speaking from the mouth of Yahweh, man. So Jeremiah was speaking the words of Yahweh, man. As he said, because thou speak these words, behold, I will make my words in thy mouth fire, man. That's what the Lord told him. This is 1 Kings 22, and I'll start at the top. And they continued 3 years without war between Syria and Israel. And it came to pass in the 3rd year that Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, came down to the king of Israel. And the king of Israel said unto his servants, know ye that Ramoth and Gilead is ours? And we be still, and take it not out of the hand of the king of Syria? And he said unto Jehoshaphat, wilt thou go with me to battle to Ramoth Gilead? And Jehoshaphat said to the king of Israel, I am as thou art, my people as thy people, my horses as thy horses. And Jehoshaphat said unto the king of Israel, inquire, I pray thee, at the word of Yahweh today. And how was they going to inquire at the word of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai? Verse 6, then the king of Israel gathered the prophets together, about 400 men, and said unto them, shall I go against Ramoth Gilead to battle, or shall I forbear? And they said, go up, for the Lord shall deliver it into the king, the hand of the king. And Jehoshaphat said, is there not a prophet of Yahweh besides, that we might inquire of him? Because Jehoshaphat was a righteous king, and Ahab, the king of Israel, was a wicked king. And he was doing what? He was not taking counsel of the Lord. He was covering with a covering, but not of the Lord's spirit, man. That's what Ahab was doing, man. He was not asking at the Lord's mouth. But King Jehoshaphat, he was asking at the Lord's mouth, man. Because why? Because he asked for a prophet of Yahweh. Verse 8, and the king of Israel said unto Jehoshaphat, there is yet one man, Micaiah, the son of Imlah, by whom we may inquire of Yahweh. But I hate him, for he doth not prophesy good concerning me, but evil. And Jehoshaphat said, let not the king say so. And I'm going to stop right there, man, because the point is, King Jehoshaphat went and sought counsel at the mouth of the Lord. And how did he do that? By inquiring at his at the Most High's prophet, man. Because that's how you seek counsel from Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai. You seek his prophets, man. This is Luke 1:70. Let me start up. This is Luke 1:68. Blessed be the Lord, power of Israel, for he hath visited and redeemed his people, personal pronoun. So I don't know where they get the rest of the world out of this. It's only for Israel, man. Side note. And he hath raised up an horn of salvation for us, another personal pronoun, in the house of his servant David, as he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began. So how do you seek at the Lord's? How do you seek counsel at the Lord's mouth? At his prophets, man. As Hosea 12:10, I believe says, 10 and 12, 12 and 10 is one of those, you know. But the Lord speaks by his prophets, you know. So it says back in Isaiah 30:1, woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, that take counsel, but don't go to the prophets to seek counsel of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin, you know, and you know, and it said, since the world began, that's how the Lord spoke to the people, which goes back to Genesis, because the same thing happened in Genesis, you know, about the covering with a covering that's not of the Lord's spirit. This is I'm not gonna read the whole thing. I'm gonna just hit key points to prove my point, you know, and you know, brothers can, you know, read it on their own time. This is Genesis 3:7. It says, and the eyes of them both were open. This is after they ate the bullshit knowledge from the serpent. It says, and the eyes of them both were open, and they knew that they were naked. And they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. They covered themselves with a covering, but not of the Spirit of the Lord, man. And they heard the voice of Yahweh. And who is the voice? We just proved who speaks at the mouth of the Lord, who his counsel are. It's the prophets. And Luke just said that they was there since the world began, which is back in Genesis. This is verse 8. And they heard the voice of Yahweh, power, walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord power amongst the trees of the garden, which that means amongst the other people. Which they couldn't, it tells you in Ezekiel that he couldn't hide themselves, man. Just like when you look at Jake today, Jake can't hide themselves amongst these other nations, man. Jake stands out. Our people stands out, man. You got our people that look like Moabites, but they actually are people that's out there break dancing. You know what I'm saying? They live like us, man. Our spirit beareth witness, man. You so-called white people, man. You know what I'm saying? For example, Justin Timberlake. That guy's a Jake. He can't stand out. So you have Israelites, who regardless if they look like another person or not, man, they stand out, man. They are lively. They can't be hid. Verse 9. And the Lord power called unto Adam and said unto him, Where art thou? And he said, I heard thy voice in the garden. I was afraid because I was naked and I hid myself. And then he goes in to say, how did you know you was naked? But I'm going to scroll down to verse 21. This is verse 21. Unto Adam also and to his wife did Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai power make coats of skins and clothe them. And how were they clothed? By that counsel of the Lord, man. They were given our customs, how we supposed to live. Not them fig leaves, not those different philosophies and those different customs of the nations. Because that's what those fig leaves representing, the philosophies and customs of these different people. Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai gave us coats of skin and clothed us, man. Meaning he gave us our own philosophy, our own custom, of how we supposed to live and conduct ourselves. So these coats, so they were clothed right then and there, right? That's why in Revelations 16 and 15, it says, Behold, I come as a thief, which this is Yahweh Shai speaking. Blessed is he that watcheth, those watchmen that are on a watchtower. Blessed is he whom his master shall come back, shall find so doing, man. Doing this work, man. Being occupied. And keepeth his garments. And what's the garments, man? The garments represents our customs, man. Our law, statutes, and commandments. It represents this knowledge, lest he walk naked, being uncovered, man. Being uncovered. It said in Isaiah that covered with a covering, but not of the Lord's Spirit, man. So that's a false covering, man. You naked, man. This is the real true covering, man. Which is our nationality, knowing who we are, living accordingly as we supposed to live, man. Just like how Adam and Eve was given in the garden, when the Lord said he gave them coats of skin. It says, lest he walk naked and they see his shame, So we ought to keep our garments, man, that Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai gave us, man. Not no strange apparel, our garments. This is Ezekiel 16. I'm going to start at the top. It says again, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, cause Jerusalem to know her abominations, man. Why? Because because Israel is what? A rebellious children that take counsel, but not of the Lord, man. That covered with the covering, but not of his spirit, that they may add sin unto sin. Verse 3. And say, thus saith Lord power unto Jerusalem, thy birth and thy nativity is of the land of Canaan. Because that's where we sojourned. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the land of Canaan, our nativity. Thy father was an Amorite and thy mother an Hittite. And it says thy father was an Amorite, which, I just get a couple precepts real fast to help brothers out on that, if they don't understand that. This is Genesis 14:13. And there came one that had escaped and told Abram, which Abraham's name was Abram before it was changed, right? And told Abram the Hebrew, for he dwelt in the plain of Mamre, the Amorite, brother of Eshcol and brother of Aner, and these were confederate with Abraham. So the reason it says that is because thy father was an Amorite is because Abraham dwelt in that land, you know? Just like how Jacob was called an Assyrian. Not Assyrian, but an Syrian, you know? Aram, not Ashur. And it says, and thy mother a Hittite. And what does it mean, thy mother a Hittite? I believe it's Galatians. Is it? I think it's 3. I just have to type in there. It was 4. This is Galatians 4:26. But Jerusalem, which is above, is free, which is the mother of us all. You know? So it says thy mother was a Hittite. Because, hey, what was the land of Israel called before it was Israel? It was the land of Canaan. It was Hittites there, Amorites, Hittites, you know? So this is talking about us, man. It's talking about Abraham, and it's talking about our land. So, I'm going to read it again. Verse 4, as for thy nativity, in the day thou was born, thy navel, oh, it's like I said I was going to read 3 again. It says, and say, thus saith the Lord power unto Jerusalem, thy birth and thy nativity is of the land of Canaan, right? Which is, that's the land of Israel. Thy father was an Amorite, and thy mother an Hittite. And as for thy nativity, in the day thou was born, thy navel was not cut, neither was thou washed in water to suckle thee. Thou was not salted at all, nor swallowed at all. None I pitied thee, to do any of these unto thee, to have compassion unto thee. But thou was cast out in the open field to the loathing of thy person in the day that thou was born. In the open field is the world. You know, prove that real fast. This is Matthew 13:38. The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, but the tares are the children of the wicked. But the point is, the field is the world. So he was cast out into the world, to the loathing of thy person in the day that thou was born. Verse 6. And when I passed by thee, I saw thee polluted in thy own blood. And I said unto thee, when thou was in thy blood, live. Yea, I said unto thee, when thou was in thy blood, live. I have caused thee to multiply as the bud of the field, and thou hast increased and waxen great, and thou art come to excellent ornaments. Thy breasts are fashioned, and thy hair is grown, whereas thou was naked and bare. So you know now you know, hey, like the scripture says, man, just around wax fat and kicked. You know, it says thy breast is fashioned and thy hair is grown. You know, what's the glory of a woman is her hair. You know. So when the Lord delivered us out of Egypt, and he was dealing with us, man. You know, as the scripture says, just around wax fat, man. Jake got proud. You know, it says, whereas thou was naked and bare. Now when I passed by thee and looked upon thee, behold, thy time was the time of love. And I spread my skirt over thee and covered thy nakedness. And how did the Lord, we're going to keep reading. Yea, I swear unto thee and entered into a covenant with thee, saith the Lord power, and thou becamest mine. And when did this happen? This happened through the counsel that the Lord used of Moses, man. And I spread my skirt over thee and covered thy nakedness. Same thing in Genesis. You know? It says, yea, I swear unto thee and entered into a covenant with thee, saith the Lord power, and thou becamest mine. And that was when we came out of Egypt. You know? He used Moses. Because that's how the Lord deals with things, man. He used men on this earth. How did the Lord punish us, man? He used the man to do it. He used Esau, Edom to do it. Every time, man, he used the Assyrians to punish us. He used the Babylonians, man. He used Esau, Edom. In Judges, man, he used various different nations. Verse 9, then washed I thee with water. Yea, I thoroughly washed away thy blood from thee, and I anointed thee with oil. And what's that, man? That's this word, you know? The water is this word that's washed. You know, being, I believe it's in Ephesians. This is Ephesians 5:26, that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word. You know, so the Lord washed us, man, through his word, man. You know, back then it was the law, statutes, and commandments that was given unto Moses. And I anointed thee with oil. I'll read it again. Ezekiel 16:9. Then washed I thee with water. Yea, I thoroughly washed away thy blood from thee, and I anointed thee with oil. I clothed thee also with broidered work, and shod thee with badger skin, and I girded thee about with fine linen, and I covered thee with silk. And this is the Lord clothing us, man, giving us what, man? Our glorious heritage, man. Our law, statutes, and commandments, the way we supposed to live and conduct ourselves, you know? As he told Moses, choose ye this day life, man, that ye may live. Verse 11. I decked thee also with ornaments, and I put bracelets upon thy hands, and a chain on thy neck. And I put a jewel on thy forehead, and earrings in thy ears, and a beautiful crown upon thy head. Thus was thou decked with gold and silver, and thy raiment was of fine linen and silk embroidered work. Thou didst eat fine flour and honey and oil, and thou was exceeding beautiful, and thou didst prosper into a kingdom. But that's the point, man, that the Lord clothed us, man. So, that great falling away, Jeremiah 17:4, you know, when we discontinue from our heritage, as 2 Thessalonians says, the great falling away, you know, we became naked, man. We lost our covering. So therefore, man, we got to get that covering back, you know. As Revelation said, man, we can't be found out here naked. We need our garments on. And how do we get our garments? By taking counsel of the Lord. And how do we get that? By taking heed unto his prophets that he sent out here, man. And that's starting with the apostles and elders, a great millstone on down. This is Hosea 2:2. It says, plead with your mother, plead, for she is not my wife, neither am I her husband. Let her therefore put away her whoredoms out of her sight, and her adulteries from between her breasts, lest I strip her naked. And that's what the Lord did unto us, man. And set her as in the day that she was born, right? We just read in Ezekiel. And make her as a wilderness, and set her like a dry land, and slay her with thirst. Meaning we was going to be without the truth, man. We was going to be without that water that he was watering us with, that he cleansed us with, man. Verse 4, and I will not have mercy upon her children, for they be the children of whoredoms. For their mother had played the harlot, she that conceived them have done shamefully. For she said, I will go after my lovers that give me my bread and my water, my wool, my flax, my oil, and my drink. See, they covered with a covering, but not of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, man. You know? And it says that they may add sin unto sin, which is iniquity. And the Lord tell us to leave off from our iniquities, man. So we must leave off from all this heathenistic bullshit, man, and come back to our heritage. You know, our goodly heritage, as King David said, man. Matter of fact, I get it. This is Psalm 16:5. Yahweh is the portion of my inheritance and of my cup. Thou maintainest my lot. Whatever lot you is, man, you gonna fall in it. If you was a prophet in ancient world, you're gonna be a prophet today. You was a nigger, the 2/3 ass bitch nigga in the ancient world, you're going to be one today, man. You know? Hope and pray, Al Basham Yahushua, man, that we continue enduring to the end, man, because that means, hey, who we was in the ancient world, man. We were prophets, you know? If we make it to the end of this thing, Lord will. Verse 6. The lines, which is our lineage, the lines are fallen unto me in pleasant places. Yea, I have a goodly heritage, man. We have a goodly heritage, man. Verse 6, therefore, behold, I will hedge up thy way with thorns and make a wall that she shall not find her path. And we was cut off, man. You know, now the path is being made open. You know, Isaiah says to remove the stones out the way, man. Prepare that path, man. Roughly paraphrasing. So now that path is being made known, you know, starting with who? And I'm going to keep saying it. The apostles and elders are great millstone, man. Because those are the men who are paving that way. Those are the men who are showing you that path, man. Who are showing you that path because Yahweh Shai showed it unto them. This is Matthew 22. I'm going to start at the top. And Yahweh answered and spake unto them again by parables, and said, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a certain king, which made a marriage for his son, and sent for his servants to call them that were bidden to the wedding, and they would not come. Again he sent forth other servants, saying, tell them which are bidden, behold, I have prepared my dinner, my oxen and my fatlings are killed, and all things are ready. Come unto the marriage. And guess what that is, man? You know, the oxen, the fatlings, you know. This is Proverbs 9:1. Wisdom hath builded her house. She hath hewn out her 7 pillars, you know, which is this word, man. It's true. She hath killed her beasts, that oxen that we just read about in Matthew. She hath mingled her wine. That's the drink. Didn't we read about the drink? Oh yeah, I thought I read a drink, Salaki. But the drink, this wine represents this truth as well. She hath also furnished her table. Why? Because the supper is made ready, man. The marriage supper. Whoso is simple, let him turn in hither. As for him that wanteth understanding, she saith unto him, come, eat of my bread, and drink of the wine which I have mingled. Forsake the foolish and live, and go in the way of understanding. And how do you go in the way of understanding? You know, by taking heed unto the counsel of Yahweh Basham Yahushua. Matter of fact, I'm going to prove it. Damn computer. Slocky. This is Sirach 8:8. Despise not the discourse of the wise, but acquaint thyself with their proverbs. For of them thou shalt learn instruction and how to serve great men with ease, right? Keyword, serve great men with ease. Letting you know that we're serving great men in this truth. You know, miss not the discourse of the elders, right? For they also learned of their fathers, and of them thou shalt learn understanding, and to give answer as need requireth. So of them thou shalt learn understanding, you know. Go in the way of understanding, man. Follow the counsel of Yahweh Basham Yahushua, which is his prophets. He that reproved, yeah, that was it. That was it. So go back to Matthew. It says, verse 4. Again he sent forth servants, saying, tell them which are bidden, behold, I have prepared my dinner. My oxen and my fatlings are killed, and all things are ready. Come unto the marriage. But they made light of it, and went their ways, One to his farm, another to his merchandise, which the other parable Yahushua gave, man, they began making excuses, man. Nigga got a goddamn excuse about everything. Verse 6, and the remnant took his servants and entreated them spitefully and slew them. But when the king heard thereof, he was wroth, and he sent forth his armies and destroyed those murderers and burned up their city. Then said he to his servants, the wedding is ready, but they which are bidden were not worthy. Go ye therefore into the highways, and as many as ye find, bid to the marriage. Which, that's what we do when we go out into the highways and byways, man. It says, so those servants went out into the highways and gathered together all as many as they found, both bad and good, and the wedding was furnished with guests. Just like the parable Yahushua gave about the kingdom of heaven being likened unto a net when you cast it. You know, you're going to catch lawful fish, and you're going to catch unlawful creatures. You know, crabs and clams and catfish and shit, man. That's these undesirable ass niggas, man. These niggers that crept in unawares. It says, and when the verse 11, and when the king came in to see the guests, he saw there a man which had not on a wedding garment. He wasn't prepared, man. And he said unto him, friend, how camest thou in hither not having a wedding garment? And he was speechless, man. Which goes back to Revelation 16:15. Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked and they see his shame, man. And he was speechless. Then said the king, verse 13, then said the king to the servants, bind him hand and foot, and take him away and cast him into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth, for many are called, but few are chosen, man. And that's that destruction, you know. So, man, we got to be found wearing our garment, man. So let's take heed unto the counsel that's been put on this internet, man. That's been put on the unicorn that's gathering us together, you know. If you're able to understand this word, man, like as Yahushua said, my sheep hear my voice. This is Proverbs 1:22. How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. Turn you at my reproof. Turn you at the Lord's correction, man. Because who is out there correcting you? His prophets. As it says in Amos 5. But they hate him that rebuketh in the gate, man. Have I become your enemy because I tell you the truth? You know, these people don't want to hear the truth, man. They hate the light, you know, lest they come into the light and their deeds should be reproved, man. Reproved, you know. These niggas, hey, they are of their father, the devil, man. Esau accustomed to do evil, so are these niggards, man. You know, a leper can't change his spots, so a dumbass nigga can't stop being wicked. Verse 23, turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you. And how is he doing that? Through his counsel, through his men. Because I have called, and ye refused. I have stretched out my hand, and no man regarded, man. But ye have set at naught all my counsel, and would none of my reproof. And how did you do that? How did you do that? Second Chronicles 15:13, I believe. That's not what I was looking for, but the Spirit had me get it, so I'm gonna read it. 2 Chronicles 15:13, that whosoever will not seek Yahweh Shem Yahushai, power of Israel, should be put to death. So how do you seek the Lord? By seeking his counsel. If you're not seeking his counsel, what happened to Saul? You're going to be put to death, whether small or great, whether man or woman. You know? But that's not what I wanted, though. But hot scripture anyway. 32. Salakia. 6 and 15. It says, and Yahweh, power of their fathers, sent to them by his messengers, rising up betimes. And who is his messengers? His prophets. He said, I sent you the prophets rising early, rising up betimes, man. You know, rising up betimes and sending, because he had compassion on his people and on his dwelling place. You know, the Lord said he's long suffering. You know, and in 2 Peter, verse 16. But they mocked the messengers of the Most High. They mocked the prophets and despised his words and misused his prophets until the wrath of Yahweh rose against his people till there was no remedy. And that's what's going to happen this time around, man. You know? So all you niggards, man, that's not taking heed to the counsel of Yahweh Sham Yahushua, man. This is what's going to happen again, man. You know, and I don't just type in rising betimes. Just wanted to check that out. Back in Proverbs 1 and 25. But ye have set at naught all my counsel, right? You misused his prophets. You know, as it said, you misused his prophets and despised his words. You know, it says, and with none of my reproof, you with none of the Lord's correction. I will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. When your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me, man. You know, you're going to have to suffer. Matter of fact, let me get it. This will be the last scripture. If you know, if the Spirit don't give me anything else, this will be the last scripture, Lord willing. Second Ezra 9. Start at verse 9. What does that say? Yep. Matter of fact, I'm gonna start up. This is Second Ezra 9 and 7. And everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, right? Because faith without works is dead, as James said. Whereby ye have believed, standing firm, you know, continue thou in the things that thou hast learned, being assured of whom thou hast learned them. Continue thou in the things, because thou shalt save both thyself and them that hear thee. 1 Timothy, the 4th chapter, the last verse. It says, whereby ye have believed, shall be preserved from the said perils, from all the things that's going to happen, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. The elect was ordained from the beginning. Verse 9. Then shall they be in pitiful case which now have abused my ways, and they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torments, man. And that's what's going to happen to you guys that's not hearkening unto the counsel of Yahweh Sham Yahushua. For as much as is in their life, for such as in their life have received benefits and have not known me, and they that have loathed my law while they had yet liberty, while grace was presented unto you, you had the opportunity to do what's right. And when as yet place of repentance was opened unto them, understood not, but despised it. The same must know it after death by pain, man. And man, we hoping not to be a part of that, man. You know, we praying to continue in the things that we have learned, man. You know, as King David prayed, man, give not thy servant over to an impudent mind, man. Cast me not out of thy presence, and take not thy Holy Spirit from me. You know, we should continually be in a state of fear and asking the Lord to keep us, man, because he don't need none of us, man. So, with that, man, you know, I hope you brothers was edified. You know, all praises, honor, glory to Yahweh by Sham Yahushai. Double honors to our apostles and elders, a great millstone, and salutations to all you brothers who preaching the gospel in truth and in sincerity, always with charity. you know, who's rightly dividing the word directly and correctly, you know. Shalom. Blessings to you, brothers.